Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this bittersweet episode of the show that deals with the wars of clones. That's right. This is the Clone War Report, aka the Clone War Review Show, brought to you by your favorite Star Wars podcast hosts and podcast show, the New Force Order.
For life.
Tonight, we're going to touch base on a bittersweet ending to such a phenomenal season. Amazing, tremendous, fantastic story arc. Some of the best storytelling in Star Wars. We're going to talk about the final episode, the finale of Clone Wars, episode number 12. What was it called? Life and Death?
Victory and Death.
Victory and Death. I made a mistake last episode. I thought it was called The Return. I think I got that mixed up with the Mandalorian Season 2 titles, so that's my bad. Anyhow, I'm 1/3 of your host. I'm the guy who makes mistakes, just like everybody else on this podcast. I am a champion in professional wrestling in 3 different companies. I am a pro wrestler. Most importantly, I am your boy, GGP, a.k.a. Greek God Papadon. And alongside with me, I have a freshly shaved, Kung Fu grip having, still doesn't look in the goddamn mic, and his bald spot is blinding me, medical droid, and a malicious, vindictive, pissed off because it's May the 4th, Sith Lord. Introduce yourself, boys. Smarten those marks up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Dark Lord of the podcast, the Sith Ari, the Rampaging Reverend Kiss, the Butcher, your boy Spiro, a.k.a. Darth Spyridon.
And I am smarter than 21B, more technical than FX7, the God of Steel and Thunder. And the guy who watched this episode with a tear in my eye, Dr. Destroyo, Alex Arroyo.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's Monday, May the 4th. So happy May the 4th to all you Star Wars nerds and geeks out there. What a tremendous day for Star Wars. We will touch base on the news that dropped today on the main show, on tomorrow, on Spiro's favorite holiday, Revenge of the 5th. And we'll have a good old grand time. But tonight we're going to touch base on the final episode of the Clone Wars, not only of Season 7, but of the entire show. So let's real quick. I just want to say it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. All right, boys. I got my lighter out. Yeah. Everyone lights the lightsaber front on for him. All right, one word. And only one word, Doc. Go.
Heartbreaking?
That is one word, yes.
Achy breaky heart over here. Fucking Billy Ray Cyrus.
I thought it was great.
Okay. I would say, for one word, one that I didn't previously say, closure.
That's a good one.
Because it definitely gave us closure. It didn't leave us hanging like the Sopranos. You know? Wasn't a forget about it ending.
Thank
It
God.
was a solid ending to a solid show. Most importantly, a solid season and a solid story arc. So
Definitely, man. You know, the only thing I would say is my only gripe is that if I had known that this whole episode was going to be like one long escape episode, I would have just, put this one in with the last episode as one full one.
Yeah,
like an hour episode.
I think they're all meant to be like that. So this is read as one movie, but I agree with you. I thought a lot more things were going to happen than just what had happened.
All right, well, enlighten us. What do you think, or what did you think was going to happen?
Well, I thought we were going to see some more interactions with the other players in the game. I mean, how many times did we see Mace Windu? Twice in the whole.
Yeah, but he's dead. They're all dead.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I'm saying, but
like a crowd after an Alvin Alvarez match.
This is true. This is true. I'm just using him as an example. You know, we saw nothing of the whole, you know, our speculation of the whole, hey, is Anakin going to return back to the episode? Are we going to hear from Obi-Wan? Are we going to even see the message from Obi-Wan about, you know, the Jedi are being hunted, the clones are against us, you know, Emperor Palpatine, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, there was a lot of, the episode was good, but I felt there was a lot of things they did like multiple times during that episode that they could have kind of, you know, saved 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and kind of put some more threads from Revenge of the Sith throughout this episode that would have kind of tied it together a little bit better.
Okay.
Agreed.
Same with you?
You know what, man? I agree 100%. I thought about that too. I was like, you know what? This is the final season, and we're not seeing really anything as far as Anakin and Mace Windu, you know, guys who in the prequels played a big role. You know, they had it's like they were involved in these big moments. But then I said, you know what? I get it. I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to give us the other side of it. I mean, we all know, you know, true fans know everything that happened and who's where they're supposed to be. But it would have been great if after that final, you know, scene, they would have showed, but then again, no, it wouldn't make sense because this would have taken place a while after. But if it would have ended with Kenobi's message and then, you know, it's like fading to like black and just silence and shit, you know. But I get it how, you know, that maybe it wouldn't fit into their plans because as we all saw, and we'll talk about it, the final scene, it apparently takes place years later.
Yeah, long after.
Yeah.
Okay. I see both your point of views. You're not wrong by any means of the nation, except for the Windu part, because he wasn't around this time.
I was just using him as an example.
I know. He's a double agent. I get it. But anything can happen due to the magic of clever editing, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Of course. Wow. 2 for 1 on that one.
There we go. We call that the kosher special.
Just slip it in.
But regardless of that, it would have been cool if we would have saw the Kenobi message. They did play it in Clone Wars. I mean, I'm sorry, not Clone Wars, in Rebels. So maybe they didn't want to be too redundant. I don't know. Because when Ezra found a disc from Kanan in his room and it goes up or it turns on, they show the message from episode 3. But someone said somewhere, I can't remember where I heard it, but it was a pretty cool idea. Maybe at some point in the episode, we overhear, "You're my brother, Anakin. I loved you. And I hate you," in the background. So we know exactly what point of the movie this is taking place at. But other than that, I thought this whole 4-part story arc was a 10 out of 10. Like, phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal storytelling. The animation was amazing. Next level stuff. The cinematography, out of this world. Out of this world. The scenes, the way certain moods, the music. Holy cow. The opening theme of it was, I think it was a play on the funeral music for Padme, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a different take on it, more dread. Oh, it just sets the tone so well for everything.
Yeah, it was well done.
Very well done.
And
what about the fact that for the last 4 episodes they had changed the font from yellow to red?
Yep. Yeah. Symbolizes
the
bad guys are going over. The heels are over strong all day long.
All day long.
All right, so Doc, do you want to look into the camera and do the recap, or you want Spiro to do a recap? You want me to do a recap? You want all of us to do a recap? What do you want to do?
We could all do a recap, but I'll start. Let's talk. I got my notes. Hold on. See, I was watching at work yesterday because we weren't so busy, and I took detailed.
You don't know
notes.
how to work, kid.
Detailed notes of the whole thing via hand.
You think you're going too fast? Slow
down.
And if you think you're slow, Go slower.
Anyway, all right, from the grizzled vet. Anyway, so it starts off. Rex is they're under fire, and Rex is, as you could notice, stunning people with his stun gun. He's not trying to hurt his brothers, and he's hitting them with the circular stun gun that we've seen a few times before in the past in Star Wars, as kind of a Ahsoka is his it's his shield and blocking, laser blast with the lightsabers. He's knocking them out with the stun. They talk about the escape pods that we had mentioned in the previous episode, that they were all destroyed and now they can't get out. Then we flip to Maul, who is making his way down to the hyperdrive room so he can cause the most havoc possible. Shout out to the Solution, Papa Don's former partner, the Havoc.
I was just thinking that just now, dude. I swear to Christ.
Bringing it back old school. Not many people throw the word havoc into a sentence. So, we're one. We've got the mind meld. Oh, that's a different podcast.
So it's like we're a dyad in the Force.
Yes, it's like a double-sided dildo. As he's heading down to the down the scaffolding to the hyperdrive room, he's again, the one thing that impressed me the most in this episode was how well Maul's able to use the Force. He really is a master. I mean, he wasn't playing around. From the big things to the small things, to the whole 9 yards. He was really killing it. And he's just flinging clones all over the place. He's making them shoot each other. He's popping them. At one point, he pulled the helmet off and then used that as a Force push to knock somebody off the thing. So it's just kind of the continuation of the hallway scene with him where he was knocking people out. So he was definitely impressive with the Force gimmick as he was pulling down the whole hyperdrive system. He's ripping it. You see him pulling it, ripping it. It's breaking off the seams. It's coming down. And then the ship pulls out of hyperdrive immediely. You see all the shit coming.
Can I add something about Maul?
Please jump in.
And Spiro can attest to this because him being a Sith Lord, they hang out at the same
yes, we do.
Same rub and tug place. Flip over. It just goes to show you, number one, the advancement as Maul as a character, not him being just a quiet assassin to becoming something more viable in the Star Wars universe, but also these 4 episodes, it shows to you how badass Maul has become to the point where he is his worst and only enemy. Right. Because he beat Ahsoka in that lightsaber contest and could have just ended her, but got overconfident because he had the high ground and because he really wanted her to join him so he could get revenge on Sidious because he felt like he was cheated out of his destiny as being number 2. So because of that, she took advantage and threw him out and caused him to go out like a chump. But that mother redeemed himself big time in the last 2 episodes with the hallway scene and with this hyperdrive reactor scene, to the point when you see that if he was clear-headed and focused, dude, he could probably even take out Vader.
Yep.
His evolution throughout this whole series is something, and we actually spoke about this a while ago one time, that it's funny how he went from being, like you said, this like quiet assassin, sort of a feral child, and he was underestimated and left for dead by everybody, and he comes back stronger, smarter, more focused. But as most true Sith do, man, they end up being their own worst enemies because that hunger for vengeance and power, they can never find a way to fill it. It's like they keep wanting more and more and more, and eventually, as we all see in Rebels, he gets too cocky, thinking that he's gonna beat the old guy, and the old guy fucking schooled his ass.
Yep. Sorry, Doc.
No, it was good. That was a good segue. So he's ripping stuff up, and then he dips out of there, and then we switch back to Ahsoka and Rex, and they're talking about how they don't want to kill the clones, And Rex is saying, but they want to kill us. We despite the fact that they're my brothers. And she goes, well, I'm not going to be the death of them. And then she removes his helmet. And again, you see, with a tear in my eye. I think they used that gimmick a little too much, though, unfortunately. The fact that he had the tear in his eye.
No, I loved it, dude. I loved it. The reason why I love it, not to cut you off again, I just want to add to what you say. And I think if I save it for later on in the episode, it won't fit perfectly. This story arc and this whole series basically has given these clones another layer to their character. They're not just mindless pawns that turn on the switch of a dime because they hear execute order 66 and then the switch goes off. So with him crying because he knows he has to fight his brothers who are really him because they're all clones. It just adds so much gravitas or so much what's another good word to use? So much layering to the character, I guess. I don't know. But I just love the fact that it gives them something. And each clone is different. We have, what was his name? Jesse. We have nines. We have fives. We have him. We have Cody. We have all these freaking guys. You know what I mean? And and the Bad Batch alone. You know what I mean? Anyhow, keep going.
Yeah, no, I agree that they were just basically kind of almost like throwaway characters in the prequels, where they were just there to serve one purpose. None of them had any personality. You see them all when they're eating in the mess hall. It's basically the same shit. They're all kind of staring at each other. There's nothing different, within them. But this show, more so than anything else, I know.
Is that your cornbread? Go finish that cornbread.
I can't.
Look at me, man. Hey man, you know what? Hey guys, could we start a GoFundMe to send Laleen to Dathomir to get those special legs and shit, and fix his psyche and shit?
Hey Doc, that's your next costume. That's your next custom figure. You fucking make a custom figure of Maul's legs with what's his name, Lali?
Yeah, Laleen.
Laleen.
With he can come apart and go into the wheelchair. Anyway, so the more so than anything, I think its 7 seasons in entirety has really been about the clones. We had Anakin, we had Obi-Wan, we had Mace, we were introduced to Ahsoka, but they were the lifeblood of this whole series. Their band of brothers that a lot of people have described the show as, similar to that show as well. And it was them and how it affects them and what it does to them. So, I mean, I'm not going to speak for Soldier, Spiro can, but I think this show really kind of peeled back that layer and gave us a look as to what happens when you're in war with your literal brothers.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
So, having it go away from that standpoint alone is very upsetting.
It's a good thing you just said that because a thought just popped into my mind. It's very, I don't want to say coincidental. I think this was made by design that the last episode of the Clone Wars and the last story arc is Order 66, seen by the point of view of Maul, Ahsoka, and the clones. And those 3 people, or those 2 people and the group of clones, are exactly the main focus of characters that have evolved gradually in the right direction throughout the whole entire series. Maul showed up, everyone popped, and he grew to be this freaking awesome character. In my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, Ahsoka Tano in the beginning was like an annoying little brat, and calling Snips and Sky Guy and all this other stuff. She ends up becoming a true Jedi to the point of Qui-Gon Jinn believing in the Force type of Jedi, whether she wants to admit it or not. And then the clones, each of them becoming individual characters and putting some kind of personality behind the faces, just makes it such more viable and more. You can get emotionally attached to these guys when they start to do the job through the series because of that. Like that one story arc where Commander Krill, the 4-armed lizard dude, decided to use the clones as nothing more as target practice. That was such a great story arc to the point where I was getting mad at this fat lizard. And I was like, what the fuck, man? You're killing my boys off. You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy. Anyhow.
No, so I completely agree. So I think just from that standpoint, it's been a fantastic ride over these, how many years? 14 years, 15 years, something like that. Bananas. Anyway, so going back. So we have, they're up in the comm room. They see the whole crew down below, give up, blah, blah, blah. They still at this point don't know if Rex is with them or against them. They're assuming, either way. Ahsoka comes up with a plan, and she heads down, and she's basically captured, parentheses, air quotes, by Rex, and Rex is kind of biding his time with the clones, so the droids can get into place and try to remove the clones from the situation, get the ship all ready so they can get out of there. Which I thought could have been a few minutes less in that portion, and we could have had a little more, flashback or throwback to Sith at that point. So they're all chatting about, oh yeah, no, she's really not a Jedi anymore. She's blah blah blah. And
I disagree with you. I love that scene. I think
it was good. I just thought it was a little too long. That's all.
Well, you never hear those words relating to you.
This is true.
I like it because we touched base on it last show, how we were saying, well, she's not even a Jedi anymore.
Yeah.
And they use the same gimmick. So I kind of liked it because it kind of takes away that fuel for the haters. You know what I mean? Because they say, she's not even a Jedi. This doesn't make any sense.
What was telling is how fucked up Order 66 got them, because the fucking guy's like, yo, man, you're going to be tried for fucking treason and executed, motherfucker. Yep. I was like, damn, dude, fucking holy shit. Yeah, I mean, there was no fucking surrender now. I mean, yeah, he was trying to get him to like stand down, but it didn't take much to be like, yo, dude, you're going to face a fucking firing squad and this and that. Yeah, man, it was pretty rough.
Well, there was a shit ton of them already that was sitting out there, so they were already against the odds. So then they pull the swerve. The droids drop the floor down from beneath them and drop about half of the clones out, and then they go back to the whole lightsaber and stun gun gimmick. Listen, at that point, if they knew they were crashing because the hyperdrive was coming down, I understand that's your boys. I get it. I understand that you serve with these guys, but they ain't all getting on a fucking spaceship to fly down to the fucking planet with you. They're gonna fucking die. So at that, it's like being on a desert island. Either I'm gonna eat you, motherfucker, or you're gonna eat me. One or the other. So, I maybe it's a Disney thing. I don't know, but I kind of disagree with them being like, oh well, we don't want to kill them. Fuck that shit. Let's fucking kill these motherfuckers.
You're wrong.
Do them a favor and shit.
You're 100% wrong.
No, they're gonna die anyway.
That's not that. You don't know that for a fact. You don't know that for a fact because we didn't know there was any other ships. You don't know if they could survive the crash. Hell, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and the Chancellor Palpatine all survived the crash in the beginning of Episode 3. We don't know that they're definitely gonna die, but Ahsoka stuck to her guns, and that's like, I can't kill him. I'm not gonna be the one who's gonna be the cause of death. The true Jedi way.
Yeah, she's not a Jedi. Anyway, so.
I agree with you. She doesn't consider herself a Jedi. She's just a good person. And you know what? Okay. Kudos to them for keeping her on the right path and not falling by the wayside like some bald-headed pricks on this show.
Yes, listen, I agree. Listen, if you read, I'm gonna throw this back to a little comic book trivia here. If you read comic books, there are a few characters out there who made a vow never to kill anybody. Can you name me one, Papa Don?
Batman.
Batman, yes. Name me another one.
Who is probably America?
Nah, he's like he kills people.
He's a soldier after all.
Spider-Man has lived by that credo forever. He will refuse, even if it's going to be in the life of other people. He will not take anybody's life. So I guess they went down that path.
Cost him. Yeah, and it's cost him a lot. The fucking most.
Listen, but that's what makes him Spider-Man. This is what makes Ahsoka.
Exactly. Agreed. I agree. But at some point, you got to realize it's either us or them. Anyway, so moving on.
He had to
Maul-
slip it in there, right? He had to slip it in there.
That's what she said. Maul nearly gets decapitated at one point during this the part where he's making the run for the ship because they find the ship over there and they're gonna take it. Over there, over here.
Over here now.
So, all right, you want to take over, Pop?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, but wait a minute. So, isn't this where the fucking poor droids get fucking?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's around there. By the way, that was really sad.
That was a dope scene. That was very.
That was fucked up, man.
So R7 gets popped around there. You see he falls back and his dome is all exploded, and Ahsoka like gives him a glance by and runs by him as she's there, and then they're still doing the gimmick with the up and down elevator with the fucking clones, and now they dispatch the clones that were at the top, and now the ones at the bottom come up as well. And then Ahsoka gets.
For that.
What's the reason for that?
Because her well, first things first, Maul was trying to leave. She started pulling Star Killer, aka or also a Rey scenario when she grabbed the ship with the Force.
Yep.
But then what happened is all these people started waking up and started shooting, and she realized that Rex was being outnumbered. He got shot in the shoulder where he has the gimmick, and she turned her attention to save our friend. So Maul did the powder and left and got the hell out of Dodge. And then what happened was they started to realize they're getting outnumbered because one of the things came up or whatever. Some guys woke up and she pulled the thing where she dropped the sabers and did a twirly twirl with the Force and made that big circle in the ground. And they all popped down to the level below. But lo and behold, there's also people down there.
Yep. There was also that point where she was hanging off the side of the thing where they were shooting at her and she was up there.
That's because that's right after she took a swipe at Maul and Maul backed up. And then Maul force pushed her and kicked her ass.
That's where he almost took her his fucking head off. She was going for the kill with that one.
Oh yeah.
And then we see R7 by it. He gets shot in the head, and she runs by him. Maul escapes. She winds up letting him go because, like you said, she realizes that he was outnumbered. The floor gimmick with the sabers was fucking dope, where she just kind of threw them out and then just circled them, and they just made the hole and they dropped down, and then they wind up landing, of course, into the rest of them. And then more soldiers wind up, dying underneath there. There was a force push somewhere during this. I can't remember.
Yeah, more force pushed Ahsoka.
No, wait,
right?
he's already gone before that.
A force push.
I don't remember what happened there. I got a force push.
There's tons of pushes.
Wait, no. Actually, yeah, because I think they were starting to get overwhelmed, and Ahsoka's like, "Fuck," and she just said, "Boom," and like force pushed a bunch of them down into that one whole thing that they made. I think it was that.
Either way, anyway, the ship starts blowing up, and Rex jumps in that Y-wing that's sitting over there, which is questionably functional because all the ships down there were questionably functional. He gets in the Y-wing, and the whole ship starts teetering, and the Y-wing kind of falls out, and Ahsoka's not in there yet, and he's trying to get control. It's all like this big cloud of fucking fuck that's happening over there. And then he sees Ahsoka on the side, kind of doing her little floating gimmick. And they set this up in that first episode where she jumps out of the cockpit without the parachute, so she could do the floaty thing down to the thing. And he's trying to get her, and all of a sudden she grabs on and flies back off again. You got to make it exciting. And then finally she jumps in. The ship crashes. And then we flash forward, X amount of time from when they crashed to when they are, and you see the graveyard of all the clones there with the helmets on the pikes, kind of sit around, and they spent all the time digging a grave for each and every one of the clones, and then putting their respective helmet on there. My guess is that they mixed up a few helmets because they all look the same anyway, so it doesn't matter. Which
question though, do you guys know on what planet they actually crashed onto?
Initially, I thought it was Tatooine when you saw it from afar, because it looked very deserty. But then I'm like, it's probably not.
Well, they said it was a moon because they got stuck in the moon's gravitational field.
Yep.
Similar to how the Falcon got stuck to the gravitational field of the Death Star, which wasn't a moon, but could be mistaken for a moon.
It wasn't a moon? That's no moon?
No, that's no moon. So then we flash forward. And this is, if you go by the canon timeline, this is after Vader gets his legs like Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan, you got some magic legs, Lieutenant Dan. And then he gets his saber after he kills that surviving Jedi in the comics, and gets and bleeds his crystal and forms his saber, which is sometime after Episode 3. So this could be, I don't know exactly time-wise how far along. Could be months. It could be a year. Something to that extent. But it wasn't too far off. And obviously there's no more clones. We saw the stormtroopers. So they weren't being utilized. And we did see that what was it?
The fucking probe.
With the probe. Yeah, Alex knows all about probes. The Delta.
There you go.
Nice. That's up there with your Watto, dude. What was that ship called? Was it a Delta ship or from Return of the Jedi that Vader came off of with the folding wings?
Oh yeah, it's the Imperial shuttle.
Yeah, but
Imperial shuttle.
Yeah, okay, whatever. So then, in my opinion, this scene was jaw dropping. How close to it was it to the thing that you read?
It was exactly it. But seeing it in the context that it was a lot more impactful.
Gotcha.
Spiro, my guess is that because you said they were going to end it at a planet that we know. Was it Hoth you were talking about?
I actually thought that at first.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because they said it was a moon, then we can cancel out that it wasn't Hoth.
Right.
Yeah. No moon. So that's cool. It just makes the universe bigger, in my opinion. So what happens? You hear the breathing, then you see the feet. You see Vader walking over to the graveyard.
And here comes Abuela. You hear the breathing and see the feet.
You see the magic chanclas worn by Homeboy 88. And he's walking to the freeway with the bags of oranges over his shoulder. Oh, sorry, wrong episode. So, anyhow, he walks over by the graveyard. He bends over, and he picks up Ahsoka's lifesaver, which she dropped,
purposely,
purposely, which is very symbolic on many ends. So I want to talk about that in detail a little bit further. But then he picks it up, and he turns it on, and then you see Vader standing there with a blue lightsaber, which was pretty cool. And then you see him look up, and you see the owl from Mortis, whatever the hell it's called. I forgot the name of the owl. I should have wrote it down.
Yeah, that was actually, okay, I don't know how factual this is, but isn't that the fucking daughter?
Yes.
She was actually, I don't know if you want to call it reincarnated into that, and that ended up being her like guardian and shit.
Yeah, and that followed her all through Rebels and everything like that.
Right.
And then the thing is that, and here's the deal. I sent you guys the picture, and if you zoom it up, you can see somewhat that through Vader's lenses, you could see his eyes, right?
Yeah.
And they're not Sith yellow for that instant. It looks like he went back to blue. So people are theorizing and speculating that for that one split instant, he was Anakin because he picked up the saber, the last thing he gave Ahsoka as a present. And then he turns around and walks away. And then you see the coolest shot. You see Vader fading to black into the helmet of the fallen clone troopers. In my opinion, symbolizing, hey, that chapter in the book is closed. We're moving forward. And that is what it is. Let's move on. You know what I mean? Type of deal. I thought it was epically done. I thought it was beautiful. And it was jaw-dropping. Very majestic, if you will. Having Vader come down and with the cloak and everything like that. It was really, really well done, man. Well done.
Absolutely, man. You know what? I think that when he looked up and he saw that owl, I forgot what the fuck they call it, corona, not a coronavirus, a Corvus maybe, Corvus maybe.
I don't know, dude.
Some shit. I think that when he saw that, it like told him, yeah, she's still alive. You know.
You think he realized that?
To me, yeah. You know, to me, listen, man, Vader was always, sort of like Anakin was never really fully gone.
Oh, here it is.
You know?
It's called a Morai. Morai. A Morai. It's a convor owl.
Okay, convor. All right.
Yeah, that's a species, but it's a female owl, and it's called a Morai. Morai. So it's part of the Force as the daughter, reincarnated. So you're right on that, Spiro.
Awesome.
So, I mean, in the Ahsoka novels, they said that her and Rex faked their death. Now, do you think she dropped the saber, symbolizing it was more of her faking her death so they don't get followed by the Empire and the clones to make it look like they died as well? Do you guys think it was just symbology at its finest, trying to symbolize her ending her tenure as a Jedi and obviously, walking away from everything? What do you guys think?
I think it's her walking away from the Order and like kind of putting the nail in that coffin for her thing too. Because if they were really trying to hide their death, would they have buried all those clones and stuck their heads on the helmets on the pikes? Right. That's gonna give up that somebody survived.
Of course. And the second thing is, where was her second saber?
Probably with her. I'm assuming she probably took it with her.
So that kind of makes me wonder, like, why would you only drop one, not both? I don't, because let's face it, you walking around with a lightsaber, people are gonna report your ass. They're gonna snitch that, just like the people who are snitching on people with this coronavirus stuff. You know what I mean? Oh, she's a Jedi. Let's get our Imperial credit reward. We'll rat them out to the Empire.
Is that a laser sword?
Yeah. Are you an angel? So,
fucking pimp.
Couple things that I want to see out of this final episode. I would like to see more animation done exactly like this.
Exactly
not just for a 4-story arc, but seasons upon seasons in this type of texture and this type of style. I want to see a series on Maul, an animated series.
You can print fucking money with that, man. Come on.
Oh, with Sam Witwer, him talking about him being in the underworld and all that stuff. Supposedly when he's on Rebel, that double-bladed lightsaber that he has, right? He made it from one of the Inquisitor's lightsabers. So that means they must have caught up with him at some point, and he kicked the shit out of them too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Ahsoka gets those white blades by one of the Inquisitors as lightsabers. She purifies them and makes new blades out of them. You know what I mean? So there's more to it. So I would love to see all that stuff. Love to see Vader. If they do a Vader Purge series, I believe there's like 10 or 12 Jedi left.
That would be awesome.
But even if they do it in this animation and get James Earl Jones to do the voice, forget about it, dude. Forget, it would be amazing. Or even better yet, if they do get Luke Skywalker between 6 and 7 and adventures that he goes through and get Hamill to do the voice and they do it like this, oh, bro, this is all you need to do. Give everything to Filoni. He'll hit a home run every time.
Yeah, man. You know what I want to see, man, to be honest?
Raven.
Raven.
What about me? What about Raven?
You know what, man? I would like to see something similar of a narc as they did with Anakin, but instead of Obi-Wan and him, I want to see Luke and Kylo, and then have it ending where Kylo goes over to the dark side. You know, I think that would be a good series, like having like adventures of Luke and his new order and shit, you know, and eventually see Kylo's turn to the dark side.
Oh, absolutely. Dude,
they have so many options.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The problem is they just got to get fucking moving. They got to get moving. How long have they owned Star Wars so far?
2012.
Yeah. So it's been 8 years. They've done 5 movies.
3 shows.
Clone Wars, Mandalorian, and what?
No. Clone Wars, Rebels,
Resistance,
and Mandalorian. Mandalorian being the live action. So 4 shows, 5 movies. So I think they've done a lot. All right. There's only one thing better than Star Wars, boys.
There's more fucking Star Wars.
That's it, man. Yo, and you guys know I have to throw this shit in there. All right. How about Revan's cameo, man? Come on, man. You're
Where?
gonna tell me on okay, if you guys go to Reddit, and I know,
Oh,
you
it's
guys
on
go,
Only for tits. Only
Reddit.
for tits.
no, but if you see it, if you look at it, the same silhouette is the exact same silhouette from the old Republic comics that our once guest drew. The same silhouette, and it shows the figure that's supposed to be Revan slaying a Mandalorian.
Where's
Now,
No,
this?
dude.
you
Why
made
would?
you made you made a good argument saying that it's Tar Vizsla. It
Holding the
could
dark
be,
saber. Yeah.
but it doesn't look like a fucking dark saber. And the fucking silhouette is the exact same one. And I remembered it like if it was the other day that I read that book. It's the exact same. I mean, I'm gonna find it,
Look, they
scan
could have
it.
cherry picked the silhouette and put Tar Vizsla in there. We don't know. You may be right, but at the end of the day, Doc, what's not canon?
Revan.
Raven, not
Nice.
Revan. He's canon.
Actually,
I don't know about Raven.
Raven is canon, but Revan is not.
That's fucked up, man.
So that's it. Quote the Revan, never canon. Nice. We got a new saying on the show.
Oh shit.
Quote the Revan, never canon. So what do we do now, boys?
Cry.
Cry, man.
Oh God. Well, man, they went out shooting, guns a blazing. Great finale. This is how every
Literally they went out with guns shooting, guns blazing.
this is how every series, when they do finale, should go out. They should really take note, because what a day today is, being May the 4th, that they ended this like this, and everybody was taken back and everybody was happy. Like Spiro said, and everybody all in the feels.
Yep.
You know? In the feels. Can you feel it?
Until tomorrow when some bitch complains about it. So
Yeah, right?
Oh, I can't wait to hear that shit. I can't wait.
All right, well, let them know where they can find you boys at.
you can find me at Dr. _Destroyo, DESTRROYO Instagram, Alex Arroyo on Facebook, and Alex Arroyo MD on Twitter.
You can find me Spiro_A on Instagram, and I'll share some more at a later time.
Okay. You can find me tomorrow with these two knuckleheads doing the NFO podcast. But you can find me socially on socially distancing myself on the interwebs, on Twitter at Greek God Papadon, Demetrius Papadon, Facebook, Greek God Papadon, Instagram. Pro Wrestling Tees / Greek God Papadon is the Pro Wrestling Tee store. You can buy yourself some Greek God Papadon wrestling t-shirts. And the YouTube channel where I have my promos and my matches, Greek God Papadon. You could find us, more importantly, at NFO_podcast on Twitter, New Force Order on Instagram, official New Force Order on Facebook. Now, we're going to also film and record our newest episode of Mandomania, which is reviewing the first episode of the document series of The Mandalorian Season 1. But the plot thickens. It will not, because I got outvoted, will not be available via podcast. It is a YouTube exclusive. So, Homeboy88, put down the oranges, get in the house and go subscribe. Chuchi, put down the yayo, get in the house and subscribe. Everybody else who listens to the podcast and downloads the podcast or follows us on social media on any one of our outlets, do yourselves the favor, do us the favor. Go to the YouTube page, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit like, leave a comment. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. We want 2020 not only to be the year of coronavirus, but we want it to help the NFL blow up to the point where we're outshining these herbs and these ham and eggers who have shows and are dry like toast, like that Ian Mila from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and show everybody out there that we are not only the smartest, not only the coolest and sexiest and baddest mofos doing this, but we're also the most entertaining podcast out there. So, Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. Filoni. You, sir, are a champion. Number one champion in Galaxy Far, Far Away. Thank you for 7 tremendous seasons and a great finale. This episode has been brought to you by the New Force Order.
Always for motherfucking life.
And may the fourth be with you.
And that's just too sweet. Look in the camera, Doc, you prick.